What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back with another match review. Sheffield United at home, we drew 1-1, another abysmal performance by Tottenham Hotspur. Lacklustre, lack of pace, lack of drive, lack of energy, lack of quality. What do you make out of it?
Yeah, I mean, you were just hoping every single week, is it going to turn better? Is it going to turn better? After each good result, maybe we have in midweek, you're thinking, we beat Red Star, let's carry that momentum on. Didn't happen again. We got the team we wanted, we got the lineup we wanted pretty much, except for maybe the right back situation. Except for that, we got the team we wanted. No Ericsson, got a Lo Celso in the team. Ndombele was also starting. We had attacking players who looked like they could hurt the opposition. But the same old problems we were having all season still came to the surface, and I'm not sure where we go from here, because it seems like a systemic problem now, which this team can't seem to get out of the funk that they're in. I'm not sure whether they don't want to play for the manager anymore. I don't know if the tactics are wrong. I don't know if it's the players' fault, but there's something seriously wrong at this club.
When you look at the tactics, I don't think you can blame the tactics, because every game, Poch is trying to change it up. All right, we've played 4-2-3-1 maybe 3 or 4 games in a row now, but before that, he was changing up the tactics pretty much every game. We've been 5 at the back, we've been 2 up top, we've been the diamond formation, we've been 4-2-3-1. We've changed it so many times.
And nothing seems to work.
And it's the same mistakes, same silly things that are happening every game. We come into this game and we're saying we need to start fast. This Sheffield United team are not a pushover. They're 6th in the league. They're 3 points above us.
Unbeaten away from home.
Unbeaten away from home. They're playing this refreshing brand of football. And you expect the team to be up for it and to be going from the first whistle. And what did you see from that first whistle?
Yeah.
5 minutes in, you knew what was coming. You knew what was coming.
They started so well, Sheffield United.
Sheffield United started so well, and we had nothing to respond to it. Nothing whatsoever. The defence was a shambles. Eric Dyer probably was at fault for both goals. I know the first goal was ruled out by VAR, but it shouldn't have been. It shouldn't have been. I thought Eric Dyer was absolutely atrocious. I thought Serge Aurier, his quality wasn't so bad in the first half, but second half, the guy was literally just bombing it up the pitch, and every time Sheffield United had an attack, he was just dawdling his way back and not even trying to get back. It's absolute disgrace and unforgivable, these kind of things.
And in the first half, Sheffield United dominated. They hit the post, didn't they? They're from a good chance. And if you see from that chance where they hit the post, a ball comes out to the guy on the left hand side. I'm not sure who the player was, but he has all the time in the world inside the box to pick out Lundstrom, who just laid it off for him and he hit the post. Where is the closing down? Where is the marking? Where is the defence? Where is the organisation? It's just disappeared from this team. There is nothing. The clip that's been going around on social media of the 23 pass move that Sheffield United scored their equaliser from. There is one challenge in that whole move to try and win the ball, and that's from the new player Lo Celso, who's clearly the only one trying to buy into the ideas of Pochettino. Everyone seems to have just given up. I know it's late-ish in the game, maybe players are tired, but this isn't how Pochettino wants his teams to play. We're not a team who sits deep and waits for the opposition to come. We're proactive. We're a team who's on the front foot. We're the team who, once one player presses, everyone goes as a team. Everyone follows suit. It's not there anymore. It just isn't there. I don't know whether it's Pochettino's fault for maybe not adjusting his tactics for a team that's maybe not as energetic as they used to be, or it's the players' fault for not continuing the tactics that Pochettino, not continuing the hard work that Pochettino required for this kind of system to work. But either way, it's seriously worrying. This game was symptomatic of the whole season. Not trying hard enough. The tactics were just out the window, and we're being outfought every game. Outfought. It used to be a case where every game we used to outrun the opposition, even when we would lose. We'd outrun the opposition, would outfight, would harry them, would put them under pressure. It doesn't happen anymore.
Everyone is outfighting us. Everyone's outrunning us. Everyone has more passion than us. Everyone's got more fight than us. It's just so hard to watch every single game. And like you said, we had such a great result out in Belgrade. Albeit to very lesser opponents.
Tough place to go.
Yeah, it's a tough place to go. They haven't lost at home in a long time. They beat Liverpool there last year. We go out there, we win 4-0 with a convincing performance. And then we come back to the Premier League and it's just the same story all over again.
Pochettino said after the game that Sheffield United one of the worst oppositions you could face after that kind of game. Because of how hard they work. It's just excuse after excuse.
It really is excuse after excuse, and like, I don't know whether me always sticking up for Poch and that kind of stuff is me because I love the guy so much and he's done so much for Tottenham Hotspur, and I'm kind of like blind to the fact that he is making a lot of mistakes at the moment. He is, selection issues, tactic issues potentially. There are very questionable decisions being made by Pochettino, and you can't get away from that fact.
I agree with you. I completely agree with you, and I think on this channel we've been too pro Poch because I think we both are such big fans of him.
Yeah.
I think we both would love him more than anything to turn this right around. None of us, even now, even though since February we've been in relegation form. Let's be honest, it's been so bad.
Yeah.
We're still not Poch out. Like on Twitter, I don't know if you saw, someone did a fake Poch out post on Sky Sports, and someone quote retweeted that said, "Your instant reaction to this tells you."
What was your reaction?
And I was gutted. I was like, "Oh no, please no!" And I was like, my heart sank when I saw that.
That's exactly.
And I was like, and so I still feel like I don't want him to leave. I want him to turn it around. But I have this other side of me that after this result, it really hit me that I feel like Pochettino needs a certain skill set of player to really push on in teams. And he has never been at a club this long managing a team. This is the longest he's ever been at a club. So this is the longest time he's ever had a cycle of players like this. He's seen a young, energetic team have 5 years, and now it's turned into a team who aren't so young, who aren't so energetic, who potentially require a different style of playing to match them. And I think the best managers in the world can adapt to those situations, and they can adapt their tactics to more technical players, to maybe players who aren't as energetic as they used to be, who aren't a different way of playing. Maybe we do need a more technical way of playing, more possession, more like less based on the pressing, and more having a reliance on how good our players are technically, trying to break teams down. And I feel like Pochettino is failing to adapt to that situation.
I think, well, firstly, going back on that tweet for a second, because as soon as I saw it, Ashley was like, "Oh, look at this tweet. Tell me what you think first of all." And as soon as I saw it, my heart absolutely dropped, and I was like, "Uh-oh, we're in for it now." But having said that, I do feel like Lee Dorset Spurs said a couple of weeks ago in our fan cams, it's come to a natural conclusion.
Well, yeah.
And the more I think about it, the more I think he's right. Having said that, though, I really haven't loved a manager in my whole years of supporting Spurs like I love Pochettino. And I thought when we had Martin Jol, I couldn't love a manager as much as I loved him. But Pochettino has completely trumped that by a long, long way. But I just think potentially he has taken up as far as he can. It's not because of his managerial ability. I just feel like the players have thrown him under the bus. And because of that, we can't go forward this season. I just can't see a way of us going forward this season. Okay, yeah, wait till the summer, him to get his rebuild, but is he actually going to get the rebuild that he wants? Is he actually going to get it? I don't think he will.
Apparently there's reports today I saw in the Times saying he wants 3 defenders and 2 attackers in January, as if he's going to get that. Yeah, right.
He wants 3 defenders, 1 defensive mid. It's just unrealistic.
It's too much.
And then you think about it and you think of, will a new manager, will they come in and will they kind of revitalise the players with new ideas straight away? Most teams, when they get a new manager, they get that new manager bounce. If you get the right manager in, then yeah, he can push us on after the summer. So if Poch was to leave and we do get the right manager in, then yeah, I probably would be for it, but it would just hurt me so much to see Poch leave.
It's a weird situation where I think most of the fan base still like Pochettino.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot on Twitter. You've got on Twitter, you'll see a bunch of
Yeah, but that's just knee jerk.
That's just people, exactly. I think a lot, you get a lot of nonsense on Twitter. I think most people in the stands and most Spurs fans are still behind Pochettino and still want him to succeed. But it's not enough to want him to succeed. It's whether he can actually pull it off and pull off a turnaround in this season. We're 12 points off 4th place. It's nearing that stage where it's unassailable, where we can't really reach it
a few more bad results. Leicester and Chelsea, they keep winning.
It could be 20 points,
exactly.
come January, and that'll be that. And it's a situation where I feel like if we back Pochettino, we're almost writing off the season. That's how I feel. I feel like if we're going to back Pochettino, then let's back him in the summer. Let's maybe focus on getting a cup or something in this season, and try and give him the time to rebuild next season. That's the best way forward if we're going to back him. If we're going to be backing him and having him in charge, because I can't see him turning it around this season with the set of players, the skill set that they have. The people who say would other managers have gotten more points out of the last 25 games than Pochettino has, and I say absolutely they would have. It's not. I can't argue that point. He's got 26 points out of the last 25 games.
Yeah, no, it's
shocking.
It's
Relegation
shocking.
form. It's absolutely horrific, and I can't put. I'm struggling to give an argument that these players that we have under a different manager couldn't have got more points.
But it hurts me so much to say it because I love the man so much. You know, getting us to a Champions League final, year after year, top 4, above Arsenal year after year. You know, these things we've been dying for a long time.
He's overachieved for the past 5 years, and I think, how do they say it? He's suffering from his own success.
Yeah.
To an extent.
He's a victim of his own success. And we've said that about players like Dele Alli as well, you know, in his first few seasons getting 20 goals a year for like a 19, 20-year-old, and he's failed to live up to these heights. A lot of these players have failed up to live to the heights from a couple of years back.
And I think when you overachieve for so long, for 5 years, you're literally draining every inch of talent out of that squad you can. When we don't improve as consistently as we have done in terms of the playing squad, we don't add to it and freshen it up as often as we have. We've only freshened it up this summer. It's taken us 2-3 years to properly freshen up the squad. And when we're not freshening up regularly like the top teams do, then it's going to be always difficult to keep up those standards. And this is what we're seeing.
But at the end of the day, who says this won't happen again under another manager? It will happen again. Under ENIC and under Daniel Levy, This is always going to be happening. This is like a vicious cycle because it happens pretty much under every manager.
That's the worry. The worry is we let Pochettino go, and then he joins another team, wins everything, and then we're stuck in a situation where we're getting a manager who's not as good as him.
And we'll get a manager, he'll do good for a year or two. So maybe that's just what we're in, recycling managers every 2-3 years. Maybe that's just what it is, football these days. I don't know.
It's tough.
It's really hard to put your finger on like a solution. It really is. But
it's a big choice. We're a big choice.
Let me ask you this question. Let's say Pochettino is to stay. Actually, regardless of Pochettino staying or not, it doesn't really matter. What would you prefer for this season? Would you prefer to finish second in our Champions League group, go through in a group, or finish third in a group, go down to the Europa League and having a better chance of getting the Champions League?
It's tough. It's a tough call. Oh no, it's not. I mean, it shouldn't be a tough call. I think you got to go Champions League. I think you do.
But we need Champions League football, especially in this new stadium. We need it. And if we're not going to win the Champions League, it's very unlikely, obviously. There's obviously more of a chance for us to win the Europa League. And I'm saying if we do finish second in this group, we're basically kissing goodbye to Champions League football for next season.
I mean, I would always say I want us to go through in the Champions League because it gives me something to look forward to in the second half of the season. I don't want to be playing Europa League football second half of the season.
Neither do I. But could it mean that it could kind of...
What's the point? Yeah,
obviously, there's no guarantees that we'll win the Europa League.
No, exactly. First of all, there's no guarantees to win Europa League. And also, what's the point of dropping out the Champions League in an attempt to get back in the Champions League next season? Doesn't make sense to me. You want to be playing against the best teams. And you just got to hope you can turn it around the next season.
It's not even just an attempt just to get Champions League next year. We need that money as well, that Champions League revenue. And dropping out the Champions League this season, hopefully, will just be like a short-term fix to next season. But look, I kind of agree with you. I don't want to drop out the Champions League to go into Europa League.
It doesn't look like we're going to do that anyway.
Yeah, well, obviously, if Bayern Munich beat Red Star, then we're through. But
if we talk about the game, that VAR decision, by the way, go back to the game.
VAR is a complete farce.
Absolutely ridiculous decision. I don't care who if we benefited from it or not. It's an absolute joke of a decision. They can manipulate the lines to wherever they want. They could have manipulated it to make him onside if they wanted to. They're literally going so far in that they're going to like the blurriness of his boot, and they're going right on the edge of where the blur is, and they're matching it to where Eric Dyer's knees are, and they're taking 4 minutes to make the decision. I think I think when you've got a guy physically drawing the line, it's not gonna achieve
Whatever happened
anything.
to
It's not
clear
a
and
system.
obvious?
I think Sheffield United, and to make it even worse, after that happened, Eric Dyer cleared the ball, and then they started another attack. So surely it should have been reset after that. I think the Sheffield United got completely screwed over that decision.
Of course they did.
I think they should have absolutely been allowed. No one wants these kind of decisions at the moment, and I think VAR is becoming an absolute farce in the Premier League. It's making a joke out of the league, and I think week by week they're making it up as they go along. They've got no idea what they're doing. They've got no idea how.
One week
how
it's
to
a
implement
handball
it.
in the box, one week it doesn't go, one week it does go. And that Liverpool handball yesterday from Trent Alexander-Arnold, how was that not given?
I mean, that one was.
How are you?
contentious.
You look at that compared to Sissoko's in the Champions League final.
And you look, Sissoko's was a ridiculous decision, as well. That should never been a handball. But
His hand is out like that, and it hits his hand.
I know, but it was a ricochet, and it came off Bernardo Silva's hand. So there's a bit of a contention. I think at the end of the day, it probably was a penalty. It wasn't. I don't think it was as clear cut as everyone's making it out to be.
Well, as soon as I saw it, I said penalty.
I know,
and especially with the rules of VAR at the moment in this season.
I agree with that. I think there's no consistency. I think one week there's a really high bar, and the next week there's a really low bar. Like the Arsenal goal that got ruled out against Crystal Palace, that was a joke.
I don't know how that got rolled up.
Absolute joke.
I don't know how.
Decision.
I didn't even see anything in there. There was nothing. If anything, they fouled the Arsenal
Exactly.
player.
It was a foul on Chambers. I couldn't believe it. The VAR is becoming a sick joke, to be honest.
What I don't understand is why in every other league in Europe the ref goes over to the sidelines and watches the replay. Why don't they do that in England?
And the funny thing about it is that the referees don't do it in England because they wanted to not waste time. They wanted to keep the flow of the game,
really?
and yet they just spend 3 minutes going.
It's a joke. It's a joke.
And I think also I think John Monson made this point. On the radio over the weekend, it is absolutely screwing over the fan who has paid their money to go and watch the game. I completely agree with that, because when you think about it, the person at home hasn't paid the amount of money the person who the game's paid. Yet the person at home gets to see everything, gets to see every angle, gets to see exactly what's going on. The person who's paid his money to go and watch his team play is completely in the dark. We got a 2-second flash of the offside. Yeah. We didn't get a clear indication of what happened. They didn't properly show us. We didn't get the incident.
Clue what's going on.
They have VAR checks which no one knows what they're checking, and I think it's why go to the game when that's happening, when you're going to know more, when you're going to know exactly what's going on. If you stay at home, it's discouraging people from buying tickets.
I think the solution to this is that they need to can VAR until they sort it out, or they need to sort it out very, very quickly, because it can't go on like this.
They're talking about the referees today. I saw on BBC, the referees are going to encourage referees on the field to look at the monitors more. Okay. And there's also talk of potentially introducing manager appeals, as opposed to just checking everything.
Like in tennis, where you get 3 appeals.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the way to go. I think of manager appeals for sure. I think if a manager is certain that an infringement has occurred and he wants to check it, then he should be able to call it. And if something has happened and the referee and the manager doesn't check it, then it's on the manager, not the referee.
There was even more madness. I don't know if you saw the Chelsea Ajax game when you were away, but that second half had so many stoppages for VAR. The sending offs, the goals, this, that. And there was only 4 minutes added on.
Yeah, that's also another. They're not adding they're not adding on the correct minutes. Anyway,
look, that's a wrap.
Also, just a quick mention, our goal was a complete joke as well.
Yeah.
Completely lucky. We were lucky to get a goal at all in this game. But fair play to Son, who I thought fought pretty well for us.
He's the only one performing consistently.
Yeah, he scored. It was a deflection after a defensive mistake. It was a complete lucky goal.
Through the legs as well, the keeper. So anyway, welcome back.
Thank you.
It's lovely to have you back.
I'm not sure if I'm happy to be back, but anyway.
You're better off in Chicago.
Yeah, probably.
We move on to international break, a much welcome international break yet again. After the international break, we move on to West Ham away, which promises to be a feisty encounter. I'm really not looking forward to that.
Well, you know what? They're probably one of the only teams on worse form than us at the moment.
Yeah,
so
you know what happens when that happens.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, subscribe, and comment. Tell us what you thought of the match review. And as always, come on, you Spurs.